Welcome back to the Smith and Burke Show. I'm Smith and he's Burke.
It's true.
Today we've got a very special guest. Some would say one of the most special guests.
That is what they say whenever I'm a guest. They say, this guy, he's the most special.
He's the most special. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Jonathan, otherwise known as Cain, as in Cain and Abel. It is spelled the same way.
Jonathan Cain?
Yeah. So murder.
And wow, getting right down to it.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
You live in Ohio.
I live in Ohio. I live in Delaware, Ohio, which is north of Columbus. Old town. It's actually like one of the oldest cities in Ohio.
Oh, really?
In central Ohio, anyway. I think it's the oldest. It's actually older than Columbus. So it's got like it's like a 200. It's over 200 years old. It's very old.
Is it like a big town, small town?
It's not particularly big. It sort of has like the small town vibe, kinda, but it's not particularly big, but it's growing a lot just because Columbus is growing. So like a lot of people who like want to live in the Columbus area, but not in like one of the suburbs, they'll like move into Delaware.
They hate the state. They think they're going to a new state when they move. They're like, we want to get out of Ohio. We're moving to Delaware.
They think they're going to New England. That is what I thought when I heard that there was a place called Delaware, Ohio. I was like, that's just confusing. That's like really weird.
There's an Ohio, Illinois.
See, why do they got to make it so complicated?
I don't know.
It's because they're Indian tribes, I think.
You really?
Well, okay. Delaware was an Indian tribe, so I think they lived in Delaware.
Okay.
Or something. Yeah, the Delaware Indians lived in Delaware, actually really close to my apartment.
Gotcha. That's so interesting, dude. How the states got their names, how the states got their shapes.
Yeah.
All that. But it's lost, is what it is. So, you're a theology teacher.
Yes.
For middle schoolers.
For middle school.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been doing that for?
This is my third year doing it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of, I don't mind it. It's been a lot of fun. Middle schoolers are nuts. I love middle schoolers because they're so raw emotionally.
Oh yeah.
They're just they can't none of them are at their best. Like they're all gonna look back at themselves and be like, oh, man, I was such a a little punk or something, But they're all they're all just like very raw emotionally, and they're all like at the age where they're like realizing my parents' situation has been like actually really hard on me, or they're like growing in awareness of like actual life for the first time, so they're just like processing a lot. That's part of what I like.
Call me stupid, but middle school is like, what's the age range? I was homeschooled. I
can tell you what grades it is. I don't know about the age.
Yeah, what are the grades there?
It's 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Okay, so right before high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, 11, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 11 to 14, basically.
Okay. I don't personally, and I don't know if you guys have similar experience with this. My middle school years are so blurry to me. Like that time in life, I can remember being like a little kid. I can remember being going to my 3rd grade, 4th grade birthday parties, like 5th grade. I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. It's just kind of it's all blurred to me.
I don't know. I feel like I remember that because that's like when you start being more, like he said, being more self-aware. Like you start being more, I personally got more shy and I get more embarrassed. I can remember all the stupid things I did and be like, I can't believe I said that stupid, embarrassing thing when I was hanging out with friends, because that was the age when you start thinking those things. So I can remember some of that stuff. I guess I wouldn't say it's a complete blur.
Maybe, I definitely had my fair share of those emotions, and maybe that's why I don't remember them. I just pushed them out of my mind.
Blocked them out.
It's I don't remember saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, kind of same. I don't.
And so you're teaching theology to this age grade.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
I don't know. You think I know? I don't know. It's like,
Is it like
Well,
catechism stuff more based? Are you doing like
yeah,
history? Or?
so I use a lot of the catechism and a lot of the Bible. I basically use the Bible and the catechism as much as I can.
Mm,
And then we have a textbook, but that's also what it does. So I mostly use it for the structure, and I use some of its like summaries and stuff because it's like
okay.
it's sort of easier to understand for the kids than catechism. I gotta like break down every word basically for the catechism, especially for like sixth graders.
Yeah.
They don't, they're they're not very smart.
Okay. Yeah.
so we kind of we use a lot of that stuff.
But it's like laying that foundation though.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like sixth grade. The focus is like scripture and salvation history and stuff. And then seventh grade is all it's like sacraments, focusing on the gospels more specifically.
That's like confirmation age.
Eighth grade is confirmation,
Eighth
but our
grade,
diocese
okay.
is actually scaling it back. They're going to move it back to fourth grade
Oh,
eventually.
I was gonna say my nephew's getting confirmed at the same time he's having his first communion. He's getting confirmed first communion, first reconciliation at the same time.
wow.
hmm
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
to me, it kind of makes sense when you space it out. Just because I always thought of confirmation as being more of a bigger deal. Like you're beginning to understand things more and volunteering yourself more rather than having your parents volunteer you for this thing.
Yeah.
So it's strange to me doing it all so much earlier.
Call me controversial, but I'm gonna say this is the way I think confirmation should operate. And like this is how if I ever have kids, this is how I'm gonna really look at it. If they are asking to be confirmed, sure, you know,
Mm.
but I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're in eighth grade, you need to go get confirmed now, like because like what is that, you know? Like I'd so much rather they take that ownership because it's like been presented to me, right? As confirmation is that adults like you're like becoming an
Right.
adult in your faith, basically.
That's actually like terrible catechesis.
Yeah.
Whoever told that he was wrong.
Okay. What is it?
Yeah.
Explain
So
it to me.
okay, so here's what's crazy. This is what blows people's mind. Is in the Eastern Church, like Eastern Catholicism,
Mhm.
you know what that is, like Eastern Orthodox. For those who don't know, who are in the audience, it's like it's like Eastern Orthodox, but they don't hate the Pope and they have the filioque.
Okay.
Basically, right? So they're Catholic. So like you can go to like an Eastern liturgy and it's like valid Eucharist and everything. You can go. It's like
Oh,
yeah, it's fully Catholic. So one of my good friends.
do they no like are they cool with us
Yeah.
receiving their Eucharist?
Yeah, they're in full communion with the church. So it's basically like uh they are Catholic. They're just as Catholic as we are. So you can like go interchangeably to them. And they're like it's really cool. There's like none this far west. If you go like in Columbus, Ohio, there's I think there's just the one parish. But one of my good friends who I work with, he goes there.
Okay.
And he wasn't raised Eastern Catholic, but that's his own parish because he loves it
Okay.
so much. But what was my point? Yeah, basically when you're a baby, you get all three of the sacraments of initiation, which is baptism, confirmation, and Eucharist, and you actually get them in that order. And actually, theologically, you're supposed to get them in that order.
Really?
Yeah.
Like why? Like explain that to me.
Well, so baptism, it has to do with the effects of the sacraments. So baptism makes you a member of the church, removes original sin, um, makes you a member of the body of Christ, et cetera, gives you the grace of, they gives you sanctifying grace for the first time,
Mm.
you know? So that's what that does. The Eucharist, I'm skipping ahead. The Eucharist is the body of Christ and it's the sacrament of sacraments. So it's like it's the sacrament of the Christian life, right? It's the source and summit, as the Catechism says.
Oh, okay.
The source and summit of the Christian life is the Eucharist. It's like the center of everything.
Right.
And then the other one, confirmation, we say it makes you a full member of the church. Well, technically, you're a full member once you have all three. But what we say about confirmation is it fulfills baptismal graces or it perfects them.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like baptism squared is how I explain it to my students. It's like it's like God was like, here's baptism, but I want you to have more baptism. So he gives us confirmation. So it's the analogy the Catechism uses is like the apostles were following Christ before, and presumably they were all baptized at that time. I think
Okay.
I don't know officially what people are saying about that, but presumably they're baptized at the time, right? And we know they're going out and baptizing people already. It says, and then at Pentecost they're all together praying. The Holy Spirit comes upon them,
Yeah.
and that's when they actually start preaching and stuff.
Yeah.
After Jesus is gone, they really didn't do that until then. So, so that's the analogy, is like that. It's like that event of Pentecost coming to you. So the point of confirmation then isn't like, so that's why that's the order they're supposed to go in.
Baptism, confirmation, Eucharist.
Yeah, that's the order they're technically supposed to go in. Obviously they don't have to, and they used to until about, I think it was less than 100 years ago.
Oh, really?
I forget which pope it was, but he wanted younger kids to be able to receive communion, and so he pushed for that really hard.
So from what you just said, like this is just for my own education at this point. With confirmation being a separate sacrament from baptism, if it's going to be a separate one, why? You know, like if you're giving them at the same time, like
Yeah.
why is it different? Why isn't it just like
Yeah.
like I understand not having to receive reconciliation because you just got baptized.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're in the state of grace, you have sanctifying grace, receive communion. But
Yeah.
with confirmation for a baby, like they're two separate things distributed separately in the Bible for a reason. I don't know. Like to me, I'm just curious now because I've never heard that before. And so
Right.
I'm like trying to like dissect that into like make it make sense in my head.
Does it make sense to you as to why you would receive both before you receive the Eucharist? Just doesn't make sense as to why you would receive them both at the same time when you're a baby? Or is it, because I assume that you're saying you receive all three at the same time, it's still when you're a baby, or is it older? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it the part of receiving them separately that bothers you, or is part of receiving it before the Eucharist that doesn't make as much sense?
That's a good question. I think it's receiving like if they're just coupled together, it's like treating them like it to me it almost feels like you're expediting, you know, like
Right. It's like it's one
grace.
sacrament.
Yeah, like you're just kind of being like, oh well, why would we wait when we
yeah.
can just perfect it? But it's like, wait, hang on, because it's not designed together, but we're
Right.
pushing it together just to make it like it's like you're just expediting grace, and that to me that feels
Right.
like you can't. And I always get really, I mean, you and Caleb and I, we have like very technical conversations about like the church and like the way that things work, like when it's written with the law and everything. And so we'll come up with some crazy scenarios sometimes, but like we always have to kind of stop ourselves and be like, well, hang on, because it's the system isn't designed to be manipulated,
Right.
you know. And so like, but because it is something tangible, you can couple things together like that. So I don't know. I'm not against it, but I'm just wondering like, why are they separate?
Yeah.
You know, and if like if it wasn't meant to be two separate things.
Yeah.
So I think where I'm getting hung up on this is like confirmation, you're saying fulfills the graces from baptism. Is that what you said? So if that's what it's
Perfects is
perfects.
the word the catechism uses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it perfects the graces from baptism. So I understand like the theory of being like, well, why not just get them now? And like as an adult,
Right.
coming into the church on like your own, like, you know, like as a new catechumen, I understand that. I understand baptism, confirmation, like at an initiation, Eucharist. But as a baby,
right?
Why? Like, what's the point? Or am I looking at it through a skewed lens? You know?
No, I mean that's a good point. So it's so I think in the early church, and I don't know if this is true, but I think in the early church, it was always you would get all three all at once. I think, and then in the West, I don't know when they started saying in the Western Church. I don't know when they started saying, "Well, let's not give the Eucharist to babies anymore." I don't know when that happened.
Yeah.
And then but I know like confirmation, they split it off because they wanted the bishop to do it in the West.
Okay.
And there was only one bishop in an area, so that he would have to go around and do it.
Got you.
And so that's how they actually got separated. Because what's funky is if you look at baptism still today, there's an anointing that happens at the liturgy of baptism.
Yeah. Right.
With
Okay.
with
right.
the same chrism that they use for confirmation.
Yeah.
Right. And so in the East they have the same thing, but that anointing is the sacrament of confirmation. So I don't know, because in the East they don't emphasize the hierarchy of the church as much, whereas in the West it was always like, I guess, a bigger deal. So I'm not really sure how we got to that point. But it's sort of, I mean,
You know what my theory on that is?
what?
Rapid expansion with the lack of technology. Like we didn't have the
Right.
technology and we were expanding so fast that people just kind of started doing things
Right. Even like in the East?
in the West. As
the
we
West?
moved west,
Oh yeah.
like, you have like the colonization, things like that, and like then you have all these different small towns that are virtually cut off from
Right.
like it would take
You mean like
months.
Western America?
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry, when I said the West, I meant like the Western church, like Western Christianity, which is
right,
like Roman
right.
Catholic.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm talking like, yeah, through the West, like because you're talking Europe and everything, and then like
Yeah.
the America
Oh yeah.
and Europe are all part of the West. But it's like
Right.
Christianity started expanding west. What was that, through the Roman Empire
Yeah, pretty much. And East too. So it was
and
because
east?
it was sort of Rome. They owned like everything from Spain up to like they owned like Spain, North Africa, England, uh, all the way to like the border of Germany, all the way down to modern day Turkey, and then south of that,
Mhm.
and like Egypt. Like they owned like the whole like world. And so Christianity like spread like crazy within it.
Yeah,
And but in the East, like Western Christianity was like based out of Rome, and then Eastern Christianity was based out of Constantinople, uh, which is modern day Istanbul. Um, so they sort of just like started looking different in both sides
yeah,
of it. So I don't really know why in the West they were like, well, we want the bishops to do confirmation always, basically, with
yeah.
very few exceptions. And in the East, they're like, not just have the priest do it while they're a baby. So it's like,
That'd be
I
interesting.
really don't know why that is totally.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll have to look into that. That's really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's funky.
The split between the East and the West in the church has always just been so.
Yeah,
I mean, this split in between East and West in civilization is honestly just so
yeah,
crazy to me. Just the cultural differences. It kind of makes sense that a faith would manifest in a different light
hmm
in an Eastern
right.
civilization.
But it also goes back to the fact the apostles they went to all these different places,
Yeah,
so they preached the same gospel and gave the same sacraments in different places, and then it
yeah,
kind of grew and took on some different ideas and like not a it's the same ideas and same doctrines, but it's like it took on
yeah.
different shapes. So like in Eastern Catholicism, they have a thing called the icon wall. It's sort of like icons come from is Eastern Christianity. They have the icon wall in their church, which is like a wall of icons with like a door in it, and they open it up during liturgy, which they don't call it mass; they call it liturgy, divine liturgy.
Okay.
But they like open it up, and that's where you see the altar and everything, and then they like close it at mass, and you're like not allowed back there.
Hmm.
It's like it's like funky, like it's very like mystical feeling.
Yeah,
Like it's more Eastern feeling. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's less like it's not irrational, but it's more like mystical vibes.
yeah.
Um, so it's interesting. Their whole liturgy, everything's sung. There's like two parts you say,
Right.
everything else you sing.
I did go to a Ukrainian uh mass over in Chicago. No, I was in Michigan, I think. And
Could have been Hawaii.
it could have been Hawaii. No, it was definitely not Hawaii. It was a Ukrainian liturgy though.
Hawaiian liturgy.
Hawaiian liturgy. I'll tell you what, I that was the first time I ever saw in Hawaii. It was the first time I ever saw a priest celebrate mass barefoot.
I was just about to say,
That's
I was
crazy.
just about to say, imagine what a priest's vestments would be like in
Yeah.
Hawaii, but there was just less of them.
Yeah, he was barefoot. I was like, I mean, I guess.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it was everything was sung like at the Ukrainian one, and it was a really beautiful church. But I didn't know if I was able to receive their communion or not, so I just didn't because I didn't
Right.
know like I don't want to offend them. I don't want to offend
Right.
myself.
Well, yeah.
So
Like I think there's a Ukrainian Orthodox and then there's Ukrainian Catholic, but then there are
tell
some
them to get it
churches.
together.
Yeah, get it together, guys.
Just pick one.
Yeah, yeah. Or then there's like or it's like the Russian Orthodox. There's like I think there's at least 2 different Russian Orthodox churches that both call themselves the Russian Orthodox
Oh,
Church.
really?
And basically, it's like one of them likes Putin and the other one doesn't. And Putin has like some control over one of them. It doesn't have control over the other one, or something like that. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Don't quote me on that.
I won't.
So it gets messy. But kind of my point, to go back like 10 minutes ago,
You're fine. This
is
is
like
great. This
is
is
like
great.
the sacrament. It's more of about the effect it has, and in our like modern sort of like, I guess, like kind of Protestantized look at it, we sort of like we emphasize a lot. It's like it's your choice. You're like choosing to like follow Christ fully and becoming a full man. And it's like, and it's not that it's not, but that's not the point. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of good that we have it as a sort of a coming of age ritual in the church. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's like.
Designed.
That's not what
Yeah.
it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Catholic bar mitzvah.
Right. And that's fine because those are like good.
They are, absolutely.
But then you have things where like kids look at it as they're like graduating from Catholic school,
Right.
or like
And that's horrible.
yeah,
That's why I'm saying it's like I don't want it to be something that they're just given, like you're doing
that's
this.
true. Yeah,
You have to go. And then they're like, all right,
Yeah.
fine.
And you're
Last thing I
done.
have to do in the church,
Yep.
right.
And that's how so many parents look at it too. It's like how many
Yeah.
parents stop going to mass after their last kid gets confirmed?
Probably a lot.
I've seen it. Which is
I didn't even think about that.
yeah. But like you need that's why for me, and I understand, like actually that was really informative, and I'm gonna have to think about that. Like all
This is
the
why I love this is the part of my job I like, is explaining stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. It's really fun.
Yeah, it definitely put a new perspective on it for me because I see the benefits. I see the
Yeah.
benefits, and I mean, like maybe you shouldn't make it about a sacrament of like making them choose. You want a
Right.
weapon. I've heard my mom say that before. She's like, I'd rather they get. She's pro confirmation like at a very early age because she's like,
Yeah.
I want these kids to have these graces in this demonic world
Yeah.
to like repel these things. And so
Yeah.
I've heard that as well, and it makes sense to me. I guess. Yeah, I'll have to look into it more like that. Actually, that was really big for me, like what you just said.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't think that it's been an effective way to mass educate people, like with these Catholic schools, in a sense of like, yeah, you're gonna do the sacraments. It's like
Yeah.
you're receiving communion, and like the kids they want to do it at first, because they're like, oh, like I want to do that. No, you can't do that yet. Well, that makes them want to do it more.
Right. Everybody else does it.
Yeah, everybody else does it, and
Right.
so you feel like it's something you have to do, and then like confirmation is like the next thing, but it's like make it like try and that's what we need to do. That's the reform we need. Is we need to like really let these kids tell you what they understand.
Right.
Don't represent them. Like this is my
Right.
class and they are ready to be confirmed.
Right.
Like
Right.
they are ready to receive Jesus.
It's funny because you say that because my mom, she actually, I don't remember how old she was, but she received the Eucharist a couple years before. She might have been like 5 or 6 because she kept basically pestering the priest, like, I want this. So nonstop she pestered the priest at the church, and so they I don't know if they had to get special permission from the bishop or if they could just do it, but she received the Eucharist and reconciliation like 2 or 3 years before the normal age, which is like isn't it like 8?
I think it's 7
or 8. So she was like, I think she was like 5 or
That's
so, like
awesome.
4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But
That's how it should be.
right.
Let the kid come asking for it. Don't be like, Father, my kid's 8. Can he receive communion? Like, we'll
Right.
get him in these first communion classes, which are good in theory.
Right.
But I mean, like,
What
we
is
give
it?
them coloring sheets and
Right.
tell
Right.
them a story, and now they're ready to go
That's
receive
very true.
God. It's insane.
It's like there is like a rule in the canon law, like you can't force somebody to get a sacrament. So
There's a lot of that.
there's a lot of that, but it's also like, I mean, you can definitely, I think you can strongly encourage someone to.
Absolutely.
So it's like it's like I tell my confirmation kids, I'm like, nobody can force you to get confirmed. So like, if you come to me and you're like, hey, I really don't want to get confirmed, I feel like my parents are forcing me to, I'm like, I'll talk to them for you. Like we actually can't do that. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want it.
And that's the
I
parents'
don't even
fault.
think it's a valid sacrament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you say that, but you can baptize somebody in case of an emergency. But what if they didn't want to be baptized? Then it would just not be a valid baptism.
Well, God will know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's sort of in God's
Yeah,
hands there.
you're not. I guess that makes sense.
I really like that's, and I maybe that's not like what a theologian would like to hear, but I definitely revert to that a lot. I'll go, God knows, you know, because there's so many like laws and things. Like, I mean, the church has really changed its stance on suicide over the last century, you know, like in terms of, oh, like you're absolutely going to hell, you know, versus like, we don't really know, to like, well, you know, he's infinitely merciful and infinitely just. Like, we just,
Right.
as we get more educated, and it's not that people didn't know that, some people have always known that, but
Right.
like, how do you teach that in 1950, you know?
Right.
Like, how do you, and I mean, people have struggled with that. Like, people they know that they've lost to that
Yeah.
they believed that was the teaching, and they just don't have rest, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this person I loved is in hell." And it's just a horrible thing
Yeah. It's
to
awful.
like,
It just makes it so much worse.
yeah,
But
like,
yeah.
but yeah, the infinitely merciful, infinitely just, I think that is just, it's
Yeah.
our generation, like Gen Z, definitely, I think, has a better grasp. It sounds crazy to me to say this because, you know, like they're like, well, they're not even in church, but I mean, like, they're coming back,
Yeah.
and
Well, I think it's just Gen Z cares.
Gen Z
Like,
cares.
if
Gen Z wants to
cares about
know
something, they really
God.
care about
Yeah,
it. They don't like they don't go halfway on things, I feel like.
because I said so doesn't work.
No.
And
No.
but we also have the resources like the internet and, you know, Focus and all these outreaches that like help educate people and that want to know. You know,
Yeah.
like if you want to know, you can learn. Like,
The answers are there
yeah,
if you ask them.
I'm 3-0 with the Protestants right now.
Like you've converted 3 people.
Yeah,
3 out of 3 people. You
yeah.
heard it here.
I didn't
Send your
convert.
Protestant friends.
I didn't convert them, but I answered their questions.
So I was
There you
gonna
go.
say, what determines what would determine a 3 and 1? Like, 'cause you could still be like someday, you know, like
Someday. Well, I'll tell you what would determine a 3 and 1 is when I become Protestant.
What?
when, not if.
I said if, okay, yeah, I'll say if. There you go. If I become a Protestant, that's the one. But I got a pretty good track record.
That's the one time you lose. You can only lose
Very
once.
I can only lose once, unless I become Catholic again.
That you can come back and then go back.
What a life!
Then that's like another loss, isn't it?
We'll talk to
I
him.
think so.
We'll talk to him in like 10 years. Be like, yeah, 3 and 12.
Can you imagine?
It's been flip flopping ever since this conversation.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, that confirmation thing really disrupted my faith. No, it's all good.
It's awesome.
But do you find like you have some students that are like more curious about it than others, or are they all kind of just like passive? Or...
Yeah. There's definitely. I saw one statistic that says that kids who are raised Catholic decide by the time they're 8 if they're going to stay Catholic.
Whoa.
Which is crazy. Which makes sense in my own experience of like I remember being like, yeah, this is real. When I was like around that age, or like maybe I was like 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like
So something you've experienced, maybe not witnessed though.
yeah, or just like I just remember just realizing it was real and being, you know,
How did they
the
collect
course
that
being
data?
set. I have no idea. I don't know where they come up with these numbers.
Trust the data.
But the numbers don't lie. We have the best statistics.
Oh.
You know, but
We're getting demonetized.
We cut that part out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Oh, we'll leave it in.
So you have kids who are just like they just clearly don't care, and then you have kids who like clearly do care. And at my school, there's a lot of kids who clearly do care from the start.
Oh, that's
a lot of
great.
really awesome families.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
If you have one awesome family that doesn't isolate themselves but shares their awesomeness,
Yeah.
it's so contagious.
Yeah, no, it's true. And there's a bunch of them. Like, there's a bunch of awesome families at the school who just like are really passionate about their faith and raising their kids really well. And
See, I
so
feel like those are the families that really trust God instead of fear society.
Yeah, dude, it's so true because it's so easy to become like to be so afraid of how the world's
Yeah.
going. You just like get
Bubble
too
up.
isolated,
Yeah.
and you have to do that to some degree. You can't just like
Oh yeah.
you can't
Well, you got to have that trust.
but you have to have the trust. Yeah, yeah. Um, so there's a lot of like really great families, and then there's some kids. It's really interesting because kids will have like roadblocks to their faith, and you'll see like so for example, just recently we're going through the seven sacraments in seventh grade, uh, and one of my kids, her parents are from Africa, really great student, but just like was treating religion classes just like a class, just like give me the grade, don't really care, you know what I mean? Um, but when we were talking about the sacrament of anointing of the sick, I did a whole we spent a whole week just talking about the problem of evil, which is like if God is good, why is there evil in the world if God is good?
That is a great thing to talk about.
Which is like one of the hardest questions, it's like,
Yeah.
how could God allow evil? Why does he allow death? Why does he allow suffering? And during those conversations, she like lit up, and now she's like asking tons of questions and stuff. So it's like sometimes you like run into a roadblock for a kid, and then once you address it, then it like clicks for them, which is really cool to see. And you like you see like the shift happen, and it's really cool because you can just kind of get a sense for like where a kid's at in their faith by like the questions they ask and like how much they're motivated to understand and stuff like that. Or you get some kids who are just like, I got this one kid in seventh grade who's just so scrupulous, and he just comes up with all these reasons for like why something could be a sin. I'm like, dude, I just tell him all the time, like, dude, stop being scrupulous.
No, don't tell him that.
But no. But one time I was like, I gave him a whole lesson on scrupulosity, and
I didn't know it was a word.
do you know what it is?
No.
Okay. Oh, scrupulosity is when you're like, you have a lot of scruples. So you're like, that's where the word scruple comes from. Okay. But
I mean, I could have.
I'm a scrupite. But so to be scrupulous means you think things are sinful, basically that aren't sinful. So you're like really like
like all those memes of like new convert talking to the priest, and it's like sometimes I like to lay down in my shower and pretend I'm a sloth in a ring. And he's like, again, really weird, but not a sin.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. or it's like a kid will like I had a kid once like drop his Bible, and it's like a school Bible, and he accidentally he was like grabbing it to try and catch it, and he like ripped a page off. He's like, and he said these words. He goes, Mr. Cain, am I gonna go to hell? It's like why would you go to you dropped your Bible and you actually why would you go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's scrupulosity. It's like thinking you're like going to hell for something that like isn't even a sin, you know, because you're so worried about it, and you're so like you have to like
it's kind of the opposite of, I don't know, it's probably got a word, but when you're like the opposite, where you're like, I there's no way I'm going to hell. I'm a good person. I'm going to heaven no matter what I do. Like I don't know, is there a word for that, or is it like maybe
a fool? Someone who's going to it's more like they call it like a relaxed conscience, or like a lax conscience. There's not like a word that's like the equivalent.
Somebody who's had too much kava.
Because I don't even know what kava is.
Oh, watch the episode.
I haven't watched that one yet.
It's a couple episodes back.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I started that one. I never finished it.
Okay. Don't tell us
that. For viewer retention.
My bad.
We need to be more exciting. Put some more explosions in the background.
So you had a very scrupulous child.
Yeah. So he's this poor kid. This poor kid is just tortured, So I was telling him about I gave him a lesson on being scrupulous, because there's a lot of kids in that class specifically that I can tell are just like super scrupulous. They're just like, everything's a sin, and like I got to be so careful, or God's gonna like kill me or something. God's gonna smite me. So I just gave him a lesson on that, and on like mortal sin and stuff like that. And so in the end, I was like, so now some of you are really worried about being scrupulous. Some of you are being scrupulous about being scrupulous. And this kid who's like the most scrupulous kid ever, he goes, dang it.
That's awesome.
Because I also know what that's like to be that way. I've been that way in the past. I still am to some degree, but not as much as I used to be. Where you just like, because what scrupulosity really is it's you like looking at your faith as just like a bunch of rules
Yeah,
instead of looking at it as
it's a
like
bunch of tools.
uh, well, yeah, sure.
There you go.
I don't know. But like looking at it as like a relationship, because it's like,
Yeah.
can you ever be 110% certain you're in a state of grace?
No.
No, you actually can't. You actually can't be like certain, but you can be reasonably certain.
Yeah.
And if you have a well-formed conscience, you could be reasonably certain that you're right about that,
Hmm.
But then you have to also like form your conscience, which takes your whole life.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I got told like if it feels bad, then it is bad. And then I had like depression, and then everything felt bad.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm just bad, and I'm gonna go to hell.
That's horrible.
It was in college. I was like in a theology class, and they were like, "Yeah, your conscience is a judgment of reason."
They
Like,
said
what?
that in college.
Yeah, that's the definition of it. It's actually
Who wrote that?
it's in the catechism.
Who wrote it?
I don't know, but it's a judgment of reason. It's not like a feeling. Your feelings can be part of it, but they need to line up with actual reason. So like sometimes people do things, and they're like, "Well, it felt bad, so therefore I'm the bad guy."
Hmm.
It's
You know
like,
what's interesting about that is I actually heard uh I heard a priest one time tell me, and I know like priests can be wrong, but this I don't think he was wrong. And it's really changed my perspective on feeling a lot. And it's like another name for Lucifer is the accuser. And so it's like feelings of guilt, feelings of shame, like that whole
yeah,
Catholic guilt thing, like that's actually the devil because God doesn't interject those feelings upon you. He
mm,
doesn't. God wants you to be sorry and come back, and it's like, but what does guilt and shame do but separate you and make that harder to do?
mm,
So it's like really change, like, because I mean,
yeah,
the mercy of God, like when you understand the mercy of God, you understand guilt and shame really have no sense. Like it's like admitting you're wrong. I'm not saying don't like be sorry, but you don't have to be shameful to be sorry. You don't have to be like you
right,
don't have to like let yourself
yeah,
rot in decay of guilt to be sorry. Like you can logically, reasonably be like, yeah, that was really messed up and I should never do that again.
yeah,
But like have that confidence and that boost of like, but I'm gonna do the right thing now, and like
yeah,
amend your life, like the act of contrition says to do. Like,
yeah,
so
yeah. Like Ignatius of Loyola talks about that in the roles of like when the Holy Spirit actually makes people feel guilty is when they're not repentant.
yeah.
So if you're somebody who's like genuinely doing your best and striving, and you're walking around with all this shame, that's not from God,
Hmm.
because that's the devil trying to make it harder, basically, to
Yeah.
get back up and keep going and be like, or just like, I'm going to get up and keep going, even though you might sin again. It's
Yeah.
like for me, that's sometimes the hardest thing. It's like
Mm.
I know I'm going to have to repent again
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing though, like about confession. That's why like it's such a great sacrament and such a great
yeah,
gift because we have that tool, that gift.
yeah,
Like I remember one of the topics, that I get into with my Protestant friends a lot is they'll be like, "Why do you guys have confession?" And they're like, "Why do you think that it's your works that save you?" I hate
right,
that conversation so much because I'm like, you guys are just I don't know whoever designed that argument was just so infuriating to me. And it's wasted so much time and
yeah,
so many like it's thrown so many friendships away. But the
mm,
way I describe that to people, I'm just like, yo, like if you're Protestant, you believe like you accept Jesus Christ, you're saved, right? It's
mm,
all you have to do. And then you bring up the scenario of, okay, what if they accept Jesus Christ and then go on and be a horrible person and do all these really terrible things and then die? And then their argument is, well, they never really accepted Christ. If they had, they wouldn't have done
right,
all those things. And I'm like, so in theory, if they had done all of those things after quote unquote accepting Christ, and you
yeah,
said that didn't happen, and then they accept Christ again, but that's the first time really. Are they saved then? Well, yeah, they could be saved if they really accepted him at that point. Okay, so
right,
that's confession. You know,
right.
like it's literally
That's
confession.
awesome.
And we just have a different word for it. It's explained in such a more like structural way, because otherwise, how, like, they're like, oh, I'm not worried. I accepted Christ. I'm going to
Yeah.
heaven. And I'm like, aren't you worried though? Like, because who says that you've gone too far? If you can do something
Right.
where, oh, well, they never really accepted Christ, like, but you don't know where that is.
It's also interesting
Yeah.
how they don't differentiate between they don't differentiate between they don't have mortal and venial sin. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'll say some sins are worse than others, but then it's like, how do you know? Like
Yeah.
and the not having, all it is having a different, at least having a different name and knowing what, like, these are two, one of them,
It's like
what's
more,
the catechism say? One of them separates you, one of them, like there's,
Yeah.
I'm not the,
One of them. Yeah, I don't remember what the catechism specifically
one
says,
of
but
them
it's like
kills the
one of
life
them
of
kills the life
Christ.
of grace, the
Yeah.
other one damages it.
right. But
Yeah.
then you ask them and you'd be like, so does that mean that, a man cheats on his wife? Is he going to go to hell? They might say, yeah. Well, it's like, what about a guy who steals a Snickers bar from a gas station? It's also a sin. It's like, but they're like, well, it's not as grave of a sin. So it's like, so there is a difference. So you're telling me there is a
Yeah.
difference, but then they'll say that there's not a difference. There isn't, I've always
Yeah.
thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Come at me
Yeah.
in the comments. No, I want to have a conversation, not an argument. Anyway,
You guys got to get a Protestant on here. You have a debate.
yeah,
That'd be fun.
I think,
I would
I
listen.
got one. I think I
Oh,
got one
same.
coming. Yeah, and he wants to talk about
Yeah.
the differences. So, and
That would be
I think it'll be good. I want a little bit of conflict, because it's easy when
Yeah.
there's three guys that are aligned with the same views to just talk at all these listeners that are shutting us off right now.
Yeah.
And then
All Protestants
both of them,
are
both
dumb,
listeners.
stupid.
Yeah.
And no, I'm kidding. I'm
No,
kidding.
don't say
Some of
that.
my favorite people ever are Protestants.
Yeah. Well,
And a lot of them are just like they just love their faith so much, and. So there's so much.
Well,
goodness there.
I've recently started going to this Protestant Bible study, and it's honestly been a really big grace in my life. I I love it. Some of the best new people I've met are there.
Nice.
And we all agree on so many things, and we get so much out of it, but I just don't bring up, the differences, because at my core I already know what I believe, and so if they're saying something and I'm listening, and I'm like, I can feel them kind of attacking Catholics at some points, and but they're all pretty respectful at the same time.
Right.
I don't like engage. I'll put it that way, because I know where I'm at, and it's like we are benefiting,
Yeah.
right? And it's great too, because to be able to discuss things. I mean, they have teachings that I've never heard before. Just like
Right.
and they're very well read with the Bible, and that's something I've benefited a lot from, is just hearing them discuss that. Like, not that I'm not well read with the Bible, but they have really in depth, like,
Yeah.
conversations about it, and so that has, like, I've been able to go. I've noticed the benefit in my faith being able to go deeper. So it's not a loss. It's just I feel like that there's more to offer them.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. And it sounds like, I mean, it's like, like you're saying, like they have a lot to offer you. Like they
Yeah,
have,
absolutely.
and just the fact that, like, I think sometimes they can have insights that sometimes we're worried about getting it right. A lot of like, is this what the church does? I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we're kind of like always, which I love the authority of the church and the
Yes.
church to guide, which I just can't imagine having to do it on my own.
Oh God, no.
But sometimes too, I think sometimes Catholics can get so like stuck on like, I got to use the right words all the time.
Yeah.
And so I can't say what I'm really wrestling with or thinking because I don't want to say it the wrong way and be a heretic.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's good, but also I think a lot of us could take a deep breath and just be like, I think this is how it works.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to understand it. You know what I mean?
And like, maybe this doesn't make me a good Catholic. I don't have a problem with anybody being Protestant, personally. But I have no reason to be. Everything I need is in the Catholic Church. And I couldn't leave obviously, like, the biggest thing for me is like just true presence in the
Right.
Eucharist.
Yeah.
And then like Rome, that's huge for
Yeah.
me. But like I receive so much that just wouldn't be offered
Yeah.
in any other religion. And so I have no reason to leave.
Yeah.
Like everything that the one thing that I lack from my Catholic faith in this area is young community. but that's changing too, and I see that starting to change. There's definitely a
Right.
lot more younger Catholics coming even into my life, which is really cool to see. But for a long time, that was like the thing was going to church, and you're like the only person under 55 that's there,
Right.
and so that can be kind of isolating.
Are you
But
going to be a priest?
it's also
Have
can
you,
right. They always
have you
ask.
thought about priesthood? I
Yeah.
was just being reverend at mass, bro. Give me a break.
Yeah. And I mean, adoration, how can you leave that?
Yeah.
How can you walk away from that? You
How
can't.
do you pray not at a church? Like I can barely pray like in my bedroom anymore.
Really?
I have a hard. I mean, yeah, my old apartment I could, but this current one I have a hard time. So I like I don't know. Like I have to go to a church, and
Interesting.
I work on the same property as the church, as like a beautiful church, and I have a
Okay.
key to get in if it's locked.
Okay.
So like after work I'll go stop in there a lot. But
I personally don't have to be in a church to pray. I like to be. I think
yeah,
adoration is great just because there's so many distractions in my world.
yeah,
But I mean, I can put my
I sometimes have the opposite problem. Like if I'm in like I was in adoration on Thursday, and uh I was trying to pray in my head, like my own prayers, but then there was a whole group of people on the other side of the church saying the rosary, and I just had to start saying the rosary with them because I couldn't do anything else. But I
yeah,
had them saying that, and then so it's all the other sounds and distractions of the other people in church. Whereas when I can just sit
oh,
in a quiet room, sure,
that's true.
there's still your mental distractions, but I guess I have an easier time pushing away the mental distractions than I do the physical distractions.
Right.
So if the church was empty, sure, that'd be great. But
yeah.
it's the other people around that sometimes can throw me off, which I still think I didn't feel like that was right to be in the middle of adoration and just happen to have like a group of like 10 people saying the rosary out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of
because then
distracting.
there's 10 other people scattered throughout the church that they're either, if they're reading the Bible or doing I could not, if I was wanting to read something, I couldn't do it while there was 10 other people chanting the same thing
Right.
Right.
in the corner,
Gotta take it away
You've
from them.
lost privileges.
Zach, you've lost
I'm
privileges.
sorry. I
can't.
like to fidget.
Yeah, me too.
It's the caffeine hitting from the Celsius. I'm like, I just start
Yeah.
messing
I've
with
been,
You
I've
it.
been
need a
like doing
kava to
this.
counteract it, I
I do. I
guess.
need a kava.
Like you gotta grab your pinky and you just go like this.
See, I do that, but I like hold my phone a lot, and so now I use my pinky to like support it, and so I've noticed my pinky's like sore.
I've done that so long, my pinky's
Look
now
at that.
crooked.
Whoa.
We're just gonna. Our kids are gonna
So
start being
that
born with curved
that
pinkies.
that that's a Cain thing, but it does make it perfect for holding a phone.
That's
My
awesome.
niece though, it's like a 45. Like it's crazy. I'll have to show you next time, but hers is bad. Like
That's
that's pretty
crazy.
natural. It's just a natural.
Little
It's
indent
yeah,
there.
it's just a little indent where
Yeah.
your phone rests. But
Yeah.
I was built for this generation.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were. Watch, like, we're gonna do this so often. We're just gonna have another thumb instead of a pinky,
Yeah.
A phone
so we
call.
have the support
It gets swollen.
throughout the gender. That's the next step in evolution. Our pinkies become second
And
thumbs.
right as it happens, phones are gonna be in your brain, so you won't need them
Oh
anymore.
Yeah.
no!
Oh gosh. I have one of my ribs sticks out. Like
What?
it like there's like a bump on my left rib.
You might want to see a doctor.
No, it's never caused problems, it's just a wrong shape. It's just a little deformity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's like my great grandpa used to have it. So everybody tells me that I'm the only person that inherited it from him.
That's
It's really
interesting.
weird.
Your great grandpa.
Genetics can be weird like that,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
But he would always my mom said he would have the grandkids like feel it. It sounds really weird, I realize. He would have the grandkids like feel it, and he'd go, "That's where God took the rib out of Adam to make Eve."
Oh my
And
gosh!
they would all go, "Ah!" But,
Like he was Adam.
yeah. Or something. I don't
I
know.
mean, your last name is Cain, so maybe there's
That-
something going on
It's
here.
true. It's true.
Interesting.
It was actually Mick Cain was the clan.
Like John McCain.
Yeah. So it's the same Irish clan.
Okay.
And then we dropped the Mick at some point for some reason.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be associated with the Donalds.
I guess. I don't know.
McDonald's.
I think because the Irish weren't very popular for a while. They were they were
Yeah.
treated pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was to get rid of that or if it was. I know like sometimes the names just changed when people came over and they would like tell them their name and they just write it down.
Well,
Mhm.
you're Caleb Patrick
Mm-hmm.
Smith. Is Smith Irish? Or is that?
I think it's English.
It's gotta be. I don't know.
Let's ask a Gemini.
I'm sure Smith obviously is just one of those names that originated from the profession of
Oh,
being a
sure.
Smith. I'm sure. You know,
Mm-hmm.
What is the origin of the name Smith? Like
It-
what ethnicity? I'm asking Gemini.
it's just gonna tell you that it's from blacksmiths. I assume.
You guys need like an assistant
English.
to like answer all your questions.
Yeah.
Like the one
Yeah,
that Joe
John.
has. Whatever.
You want a
Smith.
job?
Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie pulled it up. We need a Jamie. If there's anybody out there who wants to volunteer to be our Jamie, shoot us a email. Shoot us a DM on Instagram. Follow our Instagram. I think that link's in our YouTube description, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can get there for the channel. Uh, this says African American heritage.
Say no more. Say no more.
You could be like Steven Tyler when he
Yeah.
found out he was like 3% African American, and he's like, "Oh, I knew it. Thank you, God." Oh, it's a great clip.
It's so funny.
Steven Tyler.
What a goober.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank
I mean, you
you.
got red hair though, so
Yeah, and then talking about genetics is that I think my great grandmother was the last person to have red hair. Like nobody else, just me and Anna have red hair,
that's so random.
and then none of my other siblings have it. Parents don't have it. My dad's had it like a tinge of red when he was younger, but now it's
Mhm.
brown and gray. But
Did I tell
it's-
you that I got called a redhead the other day?
no,
I was wearing my Bears hat and I was in Savannah, Georgia, and this girl's like, "Another ginger who's a Bears fan?" And I like look like there's another Bears fan here, and she runs up to me, and I was like, and she's like, she was a ginger, and then she was just like, "Oh my gosh, I've never met."
I don't see it.
I know, neither do I. It's like blonde and brown.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so funny to me how blonde your hair was when you were a kid. I still don't get that.
Neither
Like
do
before,
I.
like being 13 and younger, your hair was just like the most blonde
I think
that blonde can be, and it.
you see, I think they just cloned me. I'm gonna start that rumor. I'm a clone. I was swapped out at some
I
point.
could believe it.
They've been harvesting Zach Burks for decades.
Yes, I go away and I come. That's why I have so many new jobs because I just like get abducted and then they reinstate a clone instead, and this clone needs to find a job. They're like, what do you want to do? It's like I don't know.
So now that you're going back to a previous job, they just booted up the old
They
clone.
booted up the old clone. No, I'm going in pretending like I've been here before, but it's actually still all.
That's why they got to train you all over again.
Yes, I'm gonna go through training. I'm not gonna know anything. Oh, well, this is great. This has been good, dude. Thanks for being on our
This has
podcast. You
been
brought the coat.
I brought the coat,
Yeah.
the legendary coat.
The
How
coat.
often do you wear that coat?
I wear it in the winter. I wear it all the time.
What's the
I wear
story?
it to teaching.
That's
all the time.
it's a perfect
It's
teaching.
it's a perfect teaching coat.
Yeah.
I wear like a tie on Wednesdays. We have to wear ties
On
school
Wednesdays?
mass days.
Oh,
We go
okay.
to school mass on those days. You wear a tie. So I always like wear a tie with it. Looks real nice.
Why are school masses always on Wednesdays? It feels like just because it's the middle of the week, like space it out for the kids so they don't feel like they're going to mass on Sunday and then they have to go again on Monday. Or
I don't know. I guess.
it just seems like whenever I see school masses, they're always on Wednesdays. CCD's always on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew. I just expect you to know all these things.
It might be like logistically easier for the parish to have it not close to the weekend because the weekends are just nuts.
And
terms of
children's
all
masses are
things.
probably normally a little busier than your average weekday mass.
Yeah. So it's not like Monday morning mass. It's at the same time, but there's going to be,
Right.
10,
That's probably
15 people
that's
there.
probably the least show
Yeah.
because everyone was like, I was just there yesterday.
Yeah.
I love like the youth mass. Like when I did that with Contigo, we take the kids all and
Yeah.
the antiphon. Like the priest gets up to the altar and he's reciting the antiphon. And he goes, "All people clap your hands," and all the kids start clapping.
Guys, no. Context clues.
It was so great. Just kids are the best, man. I love working with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Yeah,
much?
I think middle schoolers are hilarious,
Yeah.
but they're also exhausting.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
like,
Oh, I can bet. How much freedom do you get when it comes to like planning like your lessons and things? Because like the way you've talked about it sounds like you have a lot of freedom. If you can kind of almost just do whatever you want. I
kind of,
mean,
yeah.
within certain guidelines.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, long story short, yeah, I have a lot of freedom, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I really, I go on rants that take up the whole class.
Nice.
Where like we'll do like somebody will ask a question and we'll just like go down a chain of questions for like the whole class. And I do that probably a little bit too much, but I'm actually not discouraged from doing that.
Yeah.
Because we're like our school is moving in a classical liberal arts direction, which basically means like how education used to be before. Basically, uh,
More
Otto
interactive.
von Bismarck ruined education, and then
Say it again.
Otto von. here's where we get that thumbnail. Otto von Bismarck ruined education, and he like that might have been really loud in the mic.
It's okay. We'll
But
clip
he
it.
like he was like they call him the inventor of the modern state. I don't know what that means totally, but he basically made education part of how he got people to like be part of like his like national machine that he was building basically. And then John Dewey, who was an American guy where we get the Dewey Decimal System from, or it's at least named after him. I'm not sure if he invented it, but he came in and he further ruined education after that.
Mm.
So before those guys, it was all what's called classical liberal arts, and liberal is supposed to mean free, and then what that means you can debate. But
Yeah.
the idea of
nobody
education,
graduated high school.
what's that?
I said back when nobody graduated high school.
Right, right. But the idea back then was like education was just to like form you and give you tools so you can
Mhm.
learn, and so it's supposed to be moving in that
I'm being
direction.
ironic, but yeah.
Right, yeah. No, but that's like true though. But you didn't need to back then. It was like,
Right. Yeah.
and nowadays it keeps on getting to like you might as well just not go to college.
Yeah. You hear that? We're off the hook.
Yeah.
You
Wasn't
guys,
planning on it.
you guys did it right. 'Cause neither of you guys went, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you went for you got your
I got my CNA.
CNA, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 8 weeks.
I thought you took some like prerequisite class. Like you
I
were
took
gonna,
some English classes. That was just for my own education because that was something I graduated high school not really. But I also had dyslexia growing up, so I just struggled with that. It's why I stutter a lot in like this. And I was trying like no, I'll try to like put words together and I'll backtrack and start my sentence over again. And I'll start rambling until I finally get it right. And I also like writing a lot. So I write music, I write, stories, things, and um, the English class really helped me with that. So I took that for
Nice.
my own education, not really because I planned on doing anything with it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to learn how to write.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything against it. I just didn't know what I would use with like I didn't know what degree to get, and I didn't have a plan to use it. So I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't see a point in going to pay the money and spending the time
Yeah.
when I didn't know where I was going to apply it.
Yeah. And it used to be education was never about getting a job. It was about like getting the formation from it, which is like what my degree was.
Mhm.
Because it was, I guess you could call it a general humanities degree. My professor would be killing me over calling it that, but it was sort of like it was like history, philosophy, theology, literature, political science, all like smushed together.
Right. But
And
it was a great school for that.
It
though.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like I knew I wasn't getting it to get a job,
Mhm.
and it helped me get this job, but like it's not going to help with anything else,
Right.
really. You know what I mean? So it's like, but that's what education used to be about, was like forming the person, and giving them like the language to use to understand life and
Yeah.
reality and everything. So,
Yeah, now it's just kind of treated like a certificate.
yeah,
Like,
which is fair for stuff like if you want to be like a doctor.
right.
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
obviously you need to be
Please.
like,
Yeah, go to
really
school.
well educated. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, no, dude, I was listening to this crazy podcast, and this guy was saying that like doctors shouldn't have to go to school.
Well, no,
Is that crazy?
we have ChatGPT now.
Yeah, this guy was saying.
We got AI. It's fine. But doctors
That's
are going to
true.
become obsolete. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude, every job's gonna be obsolete
Not
except
my
for
job.
like welders.
Not
They're the only ones.
welders.
there's gonna be like 10 jobs.
I don't know. I feel
There's
like
jobs
welding
for
can be replaced. Welding, there's already
Yeah.
robotic welders, so
Say it again.
welders aren't safe either.
Especially those underwater guys that are making like
That's true.
250K a year just welding pipes at the
Yeah, like
bottom of the
traveling pipeline
ocean.
welders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, and you got to pay those guys health benefits, 401ks. Like, or we could just put a robot
Yeah,
down there.
I
They'll do
don't-
it faster.
I don't get how there is still so many factory welders because you would think it'd be too easy to replace factory welders with machines.
Machines.
Because when you're just sitting at one spot,
Yeah.
there's still a lot. I know there's still robotic welders, but you would think if you're just going to have a guy sit there and weld the same piece for an entire day straight, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Have a
know what?
machine.
You know what? That is another whole podcast.
Robotic welders.
Just like AI and robots.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna call this one. We're hitting the hour mark.
Cool.
So, but this has been great. Thanks
This was a
for
blast.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on here next
Yeah.
time you're traveling the states. We'll have to
Absolutely.
swing one by. We'll get you back on here. This was good. I feel like there's a lot of things for people to hate on.
Especially Protestants.
You can just blame me.
Not,
just blame me.
yeah.
No, I love Protestants, for the record. They're great.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, especially the good ones.
Yeah, there are some
Some of them
Catholics I can't stand.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'd rather it's like there's the one part in the gospel where Jesus talks about how like if you're lukewarm, he will spit you out. Which
Oh
is like
yeah,
a crazy line.
yeah.
But he's basically he's saying like I don't know, I feel like it's better to be
If you're not
really
active in your faith,
and wrong than to be like right and just not care.
sure.
You know what I mean? It's like
Be passionate, be wrong, but be willing to
Yeah,
change.
yeah, you gotta be you gotta be trying to seek
Yeah.
out what's right. You could be wrong, but
Yeah.
at least be trying to be right.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I definitely don't have all the answers. I know that, and
I, on the other hand,
I learned a lot. I learned a lot today, honestly. So I'm very
Good.
confident. I'm very
Cool.
confident, but
We're
I'm
in
not
a-
always right.
we're in a podcast, Scrupulous. I didn't know what it meant.
That's
Scruple.
That's a good name for the title.
Scrupulosity with Jonathan Cable.
Scrupulosity with
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
We're gonna get some good.
He
shirts
gave
out
us the thumbnail and the title.
I know.
There you
Hire-
go.
You're
you
hired.
a job.
Maybe I could be the Jamie.
We can't pay you. Well, only your electric needs to step it up with the donation. Sorry,
We
he's
still
our
have-
Protestant. He's our Protestant donor.
We still
he's
haven't.
Protestant?
We still haven't gotten our
I
votes
liked
yet.
his episode. He's the guy who was on the Star Wars episode.
Yeah,
He was cool.
he'd make a great Catholic. That's what I'm gonna say.
He would.
Yeah. All right, that's what we're gonna call it. Thanks,
Great.
Jonathan. Thanks
Thank you,
everybody for
guys.
watching. Smash that subscribe button. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at the Smith and Burke Show. Yeah. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good week.
Bye.